Firewatch is an adventure game developed by Campo Santo, released back in 2016 with an amazing art style. This game has 10 achievements total, with 5 of them being tied to the narrative part of the game, and the other 5 are miscellaneous achievements, which can be done either after finishing the campaign in free roam mode or during the campaign. The story starts with a guy named Henry who meets his soon-to-be wife Julia in a bar. They get married and develop a beautiful relationship, but in the spring of 1989, after his wife Julia developed an early onset dementia, Henry takes the job as a fire lookout in one of the national parks in Wyoming for the whole duration of the summer. So after a long hike, he reaches his lookout tower and gets introduced to Delilah, who is another lookout member and his supervisor. And after a friendly chat, we go to sleep, ending the introduction. Day 1 starts and Henry is being contacted by Delilah via walkie-talkie and asks him to investigate the fireworks by the lake. Of course, fireworks are illegal because they could cause forest fires. While walking towards the lake, we open some supply caches, admire more of the beautiful scenery this game gives us, and our climbing rope snaps, causing us to fall from a pretty high place.
Oh.
We finally arrive to our culprit's campsite. Here we find their backpacks, a campfire which of course is illegal as well, some cans of beer, the fireworks in question, and the most terrifying things that we could have found: a bra, a pair of panties, and if you thought that was over, we find another pair of woman underwear. So from this point, it's pretty obvious that our main suspects are indeed two probably drunk and naked teenage girls who are having some fun at the lake. Henry gets a little bit flustered when he realizes that, but Delilah tells him that he needs to remain professional, and he warns the girls that they could get in trouble if they keep firing the fireworks. After confronting them, they leave.
Well, I sure know how it is, dealing with girls. That's the scariest thing ever, man.
And we find our way back to the tower because, yeah, our first route kinda killed us.
Oh.
On our way back, Delilah spots a storm that is approaching, and after some lightning puns, a walk through a very creepy cave, a shadowy figure watching us from a distance.
Yep, definitely. Watch this. Bam!
I was expecting a jump scare here. We arrive at our lookout tower only to find it ransacked. But the worst thing about all of this is that they store our fucking bedsheet. I'm sorry. Anyway, after some more discussion with Delilah, we end day 1 granting us the first achievement. Day 2 begins and Delilah informs us that after the storm, the communication line is down and asks us to investigate the problem. We start our hike towards the communication line, and while that is happening, we talk with Delilah a little bit about our life, and we find a spooky abandoned cottage. Inside we find pretty much nothing other than an old guitar and some burnt cigarettes, but remember this place because we need to come back later for an achievement. Anyway, we arrive at the source of our problem and we found out that the communications line were cut off, and next to it is a note signed by the teenage girls. Then Henry and Delilah plot to scare the girls off, and on our way to the teens' campsite we find an old backpack that contains a disposable camera belonging to a boy named Brian Goodwin, which is great because we need this camera for an achievement. Delilah explains to us that Brian was the son of Ned, a former lookout, but one day sadly they suddenly both left and never returned. So yeah, definitely nothing wrong happened, especially when two people go missing in the forest. We find a massive zone fenced off, and both Henry and Delilah find it weird, but they brush it off. At our destination, we find the campsite to be vandalized and our girls nowhere to be found. What we do find is our bedsheets and a note where we learn that the two girls left, but because they thought that it was us who destroyed their campsite first. In the end, a bit worried, Henry returns to his lookout tower, at least knowing that the girls are gone and there wouldn't be a problem anymore. And we get the second achievement for completing day 2.
I did get back to work, which is for completing day 2.
Now a cool time-lapse begins, where at the beginning of day 3, we give a portrait description to Delilah so she can draw us. Day 9 has us admiring the sunset and receiving some bad news, those being that the teenage girls went missing, so Henry and Delilah decided not to tell the authorities about what they know. Day 33 has us to pick up supplies for our camp. Day 64 has us name a forest fire and bond some more with Delilah. Finally, we get to day 76 and Henry decides that it's time for fishing. On our way to the lake we meet a raccoon.
Pears!
Really?
Yes!
Man,
Homonyms.
a raccoon.
Pears.
Man.
We take some more pictures and we get another achievement called Love Turds for adopting a turtle as
I
pet.
did it.
And yeah, we name him Third Reynolds. Things start to get serious when Henry discovers a clipboard with notes including transcripts of his conversation with Delilah and a radio sitting on the ground. He's suddenly knocked out from behind.
Ow.
He wakes up and decides to investigate a meadow referred to on the clipboard, and on our way there we get the achievement Shutterbug for filling a disposable camera with photos. We reach the fenced off zone again, and after politely trying to open the door, we decide that the best course of action is to ask the firefighters from a camp down south for help. There, we learn that everybody left, but we find the firefighter axe and we find out that somebody was stepped in our communications channel, thus ending the day and getting the achievement for it. We start day 77 with getting another 2 miscellaneous achievements. The life and times of Raccoon Carter for getting jump scared by a raccoon, and Old Shoshone for finding a cassette tape. Then we get a new walkie-talkie left by Delilah for us, and we eventually break into the fenced-off area. After breaking in, we get another achievement called B-Plot for getting stung by a bee, and here we discover surveillance equipment and detailed reports about Delilah's private life.
What? We're not. They're messing with us. We should
Creeped
just
out
warn
by the
them.
discovery, Delilah and Harry discuss about destroying the equipment, but they decide against it. As we hike out, we nearly die because of the bridge collapsing under us, and we see that the campsite we just came out of is set on fire. Later the same day, or night in this case, we find a backpack with a key attached to it, and on our way back to the watchtower, Delilah reports a shadowy figure standing in our tower.
What the fuck?
Upstairs we find a cassette player with an incriminating recording of Henry and Delilah's discussion about destroying the campsite. And we get the achievement for ending the day. The next day, someone impersonating Harry, aka us, calls another lookout tower and claims that Delilah knows the cause of the station fire, putting more pressure on us. We decide that the best course of action is to go down into the mysterious cave. Wow, what a good idea. In there, we find a shoe, so it's pretty obvious that somebody died in there. And the way out, we then learn some more information about Brian Goodwin, Dead's son,
A D&D spreadsheet. That's cool.
and acquire some new climbing gear. Then we decide to go back in the cave. Oh yeah, and also those 2 missing girls showed up. Apparently they got into trouble with the police and landed in jail for quite a bit. After a long hike, we reach the cave entrance again, and now with proper equipment, we climb down deep into the cave and discover
Oh.
Ah, shit. You... Oh, God. You're Brian Goodwin. You fell.
Man. Oh god, man. Damn, I got fucking goosebumps. What the fuck was that? I knew it, man. I knew something tragic like this was going to happen. I don't think he fell. I think somebody pushed him or something. And that's why they are trying to, you know, cover it all up.
So yeah, that's what I thought at the time, but we'll soon find otherwise. Anyway, we managed to climb back out again and we tell Delilah the devastating news, and oh boy, she was upset.
Gotta be fucking kidding me.
The next day, an evacuation order is given to all the lookout because of the flapjack fire, and as we are packing out, our litter tracking device starts beeping again. We follow it and we find another cassette tape from Ned Goodwin. He explains to us that Brian's death was an accident due to his climbing inexperience and that he was unable to accept his death. We find his bunker along with his tracking devices, but we decide to leave because the fire is very close. She then leaves with a rescue helicopter and we make our way to her tower so that we can be rescued as well. After saying our goodbyes to Delilah through the radio, we end the game, getting the final achievement and completing all of the achievements this game has.
And that was Firewatch, guys. Holy shit, what a story. You know, I had some friends that told me that Firewatch is a one-time experience where you have to play, relax, you know. Yo, look at all my photos, man. Well, it tells a story, doesn't it? I don't know what to say here, man. I'm trying to say something, but man, it just has me thinking about stuff. I don't think there's anything to say. All I can say is thank you all for watching. I'm gonna see you guys next game.
Yeah, as I was saying back then, a great short game with fantastic scenery and great narrative story. I'll give this game an 8 out of 10, personal opinion only, and I'll see you all with the next game.